going on? Jerome's taking a look at Daniel Jeremiah, NFL Network analyst, former NFL scouts, a mock draft 1.0, and woo. Wowie. Now, we like to look at a lot of mock drafts from experts, especially Daniel Jeremiah certainly counts as one. Worked in the NFL as a scout for 10-plus seasons, NFL Network. Potentially could become an NFL GM or some sort of VP of player personnel down the line. Lots of options there, right? And I do like when drafts go against the grain. Now, not to just be hot takey, but actually do the work, formulate an opinion. Maybe that opinion is different than the group think, and then stand by it once you get pushed back. Because, wow, there's some really interesting stuff going on here. Plus, DJ is, of course, connected throughout the league, and mock drafts are what you hear. So, maybe there's some nuggets of wisdom. Maybe there's a couple of guys that the consensus, the groupthink of us internet NFL GM wannabes are a little bit lower on guys NFL are higher on, or vice versa. So, yeah, let's go. Let's get into this thing. So, at 1, Trevor Lawrence. Shocker. Nah. It's pretty straightforward. Number 2, all right, so here's where the draft really starts. Like you mentioned, Zach Wilson going to the Jets. Remember, White Suge Knight, Joe Douglas didn't draft Sam Darnold, so he's going to flip him for picks. Now, you could go Justin Fields here, certainly, but going with Zach Wilson. And if you follow Daniel Jeremiah on social media, you know that he loves him some Zach Wilson, man. And I do agree that there are some throws that Zach Wilson makes are absolutely rare, but you're taking a big chance here. Justin Fields, everyone knows him, big school, was in the playoff, and big arm, big talent, so it's a big gamble, but not the biggest gamble at the top end of the draft. Number 3, so the Dolphins going with Ja'Marr Chase here. I think people forget how good Ja'Marr Chase is. 20 touchdowns last season, LSU, primarily with Justin Jefferson taking away coverage. But, of course, Devontae Smith is going to be the name that pops up here. It's like, oh, he had a phenomenal season, won the Heisman, absolutely respect that. Of course, he and Tua go way back like chiroprac, as well as the Dolphins will be coaching Devontae at the Senior Bowl, so that would make sense here. But, yeah, going with Ja'Marr Chase, I fully understand. Here's the big gamble. So the Atlanta Falcons are fully on in no pants for Trey Lance, getting their quarterback, the heir apparent for Matt Ryan, but passing up on Justin Fields to take an FCS kid with 1 year of experience and was shut out of 2020 because the school opted out. Woo. Like, this is some big-time cojones decisions, wherever the Falcons GM is going to be. Arthur Smith, brand new head coach. Wow. Like, this is potentially a decision that's going to echo through the next decade plus of the NFL. Because if Trey Lance doesn't work out and Justin Fields flourishes, I mean, that one is going to be like, oh, well, the Falcons, remember when they did this? They blew lead on the draft because you had a guy who was at Georgia, then Ohio State, a proven winner. Yes, a couple of flaws in his game, but also a local guy in the Atlanta area as well. And you passed on him for some dude from Marshall, Minnesota. Now, I love it. I love that it's spicy, and DJ talks about how Trey Lance has all the physical attributes, I mean, on par or sometimes better in some aspects than Justin Fields, but takes care of the football a lot better. Fields can be turnover prone, especially when he gets some heat on him, but Trey Lance, yes, you could talk about level competition. NDSU is here in the FCS. Everyone else in the FCS is sorted down here, but 46 total touchdowns, only had 2 turnovers, none of them as interceptions. Trey Lance in 2019 as a redshirt freshman, so wow. Damn, Gina. Let's get this thing going. 5, more heat. So Penny Sewell is all world, but yeah, if you follow Daniel Jeremiah, he loves him some Rashawn Slater. And the Bengals, this is like a knife edge of history moment. So you pass on Penny Sewell, potentially a generational prospect. Ironically, could be the next Anthony Munoz, who of course was a Hall of Famer, Bengal left tackle. But Rashawn Slater in this spot, I get it. I don't get it, but I sort of understand it. So if they're really are set on Jonah Williams as that left tackle, even though he's had a couple of injury-plagued seasons, you can put Rashawn Slater at the other tackle, play him inside. Positional versatility is big, but I don't know if you could pass up Penny Sewell, man. I mean, Penny Sewell is only 20 years old and just going to get better and better and better, but wow. 6. So the Eagles, everyone and their mom is mocking wide receivers to the Eagles, and understandably so. They definitely need some help there. But, I mean, the Eagles secondary is garbage too. It is. So Patrick Surtain the second coming out of Alabama makes a ton of sense here. Darius Slay, the big free agent signee from Detroit, he was let go for a reason. Yeah, not so much. 7. the Lions. Going with the wide receiver. Oh, another first-round wide receiver for the Lions. First pick of the Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes era, but Devontae Smith. So as a Vikings fan, this is annoying. I hate it. Now the Lions are going to lose Babytron and Marvin Jones in free agency. Amendola's probably gone as well. But now Devontae Smith, you have to deal with him as a return man as well as a receiver. I just really dislike it. It sucks. 8. Oh, by the way, 7. Are the Lions really going to pass up Justin Fields in this spot? Like, I understand that they're tied to Matthew Stafford contractually. Maybe they want to rally around, just give him one more shot at glory. But, I mean, Fields is there. I understand that you do have to think about the stupid dynamics of Michigan versus Ohio State, too. But, yeah. 8. Justin Fields falling all the way to the Panthers. Second year in a row where an amazing talent just falls to the Panthers. It was Derek Brown, the defensive tackle from Auburn, falling to 7 last season. But here, I mean, quarterback of the future, Teddy is ironically a good bridge quarterback to Justin Fields. He's got weapons, got Christian McCaffrey, got Joe Brady for a season. This is a great spot for him. And I think that Joe Brady will be able to mask up some of his deficiencies. Hopefully they'll be able to re-sign Taylor Moton as well as the other free agent offensive lineman, keep a good O-line in front of him. But yeah, man. Yeah, wow. I mean, so no pants for Trey Lance going at 4. And then everything just trickles down. I mean, that's crazy, man. I love it. 9, Broncos, George Payton. Womp, womp. If this would make sense for a trade-up spot, because if the Broncos see Justin Fields falling, maybe leapfrogging the Panthers, try to get to the Lions at 7 or the Eagles at 6 would make a ton of sense. But since they miss out on the top 4 quarterbacks, going cornerback here, Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech. Again, because of the opt-out, people forget how good he is, the best press man cornerback in the draft, replacing A.J. Bowie. You could certainly go Penny Sewell in this spot. It wouldn't fault you at all, but they do have Bulls, and they paid a lot of money for Jawan James, who was a 2020 opt-out. But, I mean, that shouldn't stop you from taking Penny Sewell. It really shouldn't, because the Broncos' offensive line was hot garbage, and you have a chance for a generational player just falling in your lap at 9. I mean, hell, the Panthers, well, I guess not the Panthers, but they certainly could have thought about Penny Sewell. Lions definitely could have used them. The Eagles definitely could have used them. Yeah, because I forgot for a hot second that Penny Sewell was falling. It's annoying. So 10. Now, the Cowboys definitely need help in the secondary, but at a certain point, the draft day slide has to stop. So Penny Sewell is going to be pissed off for greatness, already loves the game, is still growing into his absolutely physically superior body, and he's just going to destroy. He is. And the Cowboys saw this year how injuries can impact the offensive line. So Tyron Smith was out, Lyle Collins was out, Zach Martin missed some time. So Penny Sewell can come in, can play some guard for a while, and then eventually you kick him out to the blind side, replacing Tyron Smith, and, man, you're good to go. You are absolutely good to go there. BPA, baby. Next up, 11 Giants. So Jalen Waddle comes off the board. And I think there is a decent chance that Waddle might be the first Alabama wide receiver taken. That's not taking anything away from Devontae Smith. But, I mean, that speed, route running ability, the hands, the dynamic game-breaking ability with Waddle. It's going to be tough to deny. But, yeah, Daniel Jones definitely needs playmakers, just needs something on the outside. Plus, him taking the top off the defense, opening things up underneath so they can't stack the box against Saquon Barkley. It's going to be kind of nice. 12, so the Niners, they miss out on quarterback, but BPA. Now, he defends his pick here because, I mean, people are going to freak out. Kyle Pitts, how can you take a tight end when you have George Kittle? Well, here's the thing. Kyle Pitts, not really a tight end, more of an offensive weapon, more of a wide receiver, and whoever the hell is going to be quarterback for the Niners, probably not going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. Maybe it's going to be Kirk Cousins, you cowards. But Kyle Pitts with Kittle playing in line and Pitts lining up all over the place. You got Brandon Ayuk, you got Debo, who's hopefully going to be healthy. My goodness. I mean, that's going to be ridiculous, man. I really love that pick. I do. 13, Chargers need some offensive line help, but so Elijah Vera Tucker is the third offensive lineman off the board, the first guard. Now, he's listed as offensive tackle because he played some left tackle for USC this year, but he's going to be a guard. And the Chargers' offensive line is straight up booty, and they need someone up front to protect Justin Herbert. I'm surprised they didn't go Darisaw in this spot, but yeah, I do like Tucker. Wish the Pac-12 would have played a little bit more this season, but nah. 14, Of course. Vikings taking Gregory Rousseau, like in every single mock draft ever. It's getting as repetitive as the Vikings taking Yetur Gross-Matos last year. I still think that Yetur Gross-Matos is a Viking. Like, I have to look him up. It's like, oh, no, he was second round pick by the Panthers. Oh, okay. So Rousseau, I would get it. I understand it. I think that his ceiling is as high as any defensive lineman in this draft, but also I think his floor could be pretty low, right? And given the choice, I would take Kwity Paye in this spot 10 times out of 10 over Rousseau. Darrisaw, my recent draft crush, is still on board, the left tackle out of Virginia Tech. Micah Parsons is still sitting here chilling. I mean, that would be tough to pass up. I mean, hell, even Zaven Collins in this spot. I don't know, man. I don't know. 15, so the Patriots. Would make sense for Mac Jones, but Micah Parsons, another big talented guy just falling because only so many players can be drafted ahead of you. So Micah Parsons coming on in, adding some speed to the middle of that Pats defense, just dynamic playmaker, can make plays in the middle, fill in the run game. It can also rush the passer. I mean, Belichick, yes. 16. So Jalen Phillips coming out of Miami, edge rusher for the Cardinals. Now, he was de facto Gregory Rousseau's replacement for Miami in 2020, had 8 sacks, UCLA transfer, was really getting after it. Now, DJ calls Phillips the most gifted pass rusher in this year's draft. Now, since it's Daniel Jeremiah, former NFL scout, I give this a lot of weight and gravitas, man. I do. So Jalen Phillips, whoo, man. I love it, baby. Him and Chandler Jones working together because the Cardinals saw firsthand this year, like what happens when you lose your best edge rusher when Jones went down with injury. It's weird. It's kind of like the Vikings. Next up, 17. So they got the Raiders taking Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Joke. It makes sense to have a hybrid linebacker in division with Mahomes and Herbert. Can also rush the passer too, so it checks 2 boxes for the Raiders who need help in the pass rush as well as their coverage has been garbage. 18 Dolphins, their second pick. So they already got Jamar Chase in the building. Now taking Christian Darrisaw. Franchise tackle. He is. Where I don't know why he's not getting as much hype as Slater or Penei Sewell. I really don't. Because he's great all the way around. You can't find a glaring hole in his game. I would be perfectly happy if the Vikings took him at 14, but the Dolphins get some insane value here at 18. 19, Washington. So you could go Mac Jones here. It's really unfortunate they missed out on Christian Darrisaw because I think that would be a really easy pick. But taking Kadarius Toney, the do-it-all gadgety player from Florida. Now, I understand the fun aspect of this. I mean, Taylor Heineke's getting some weapons, baby. Toney, Scary Terry, Antonio Gibson. Those are 3 insane plus athletes at skill positions. Plus Logan friggin' Thomas at tight end. Woo! I like it. 20. So the Bears. You could go Mac Jones here. You could take a wide receiver, but offensive line has been a bane of the Bears. So Jalen Mayfield coming out of Michigan would be an upgrade. Kick him inside. Maybe eventually he takes over for Leno at left tackle, or you just plop him in at right tackle. I think he'd be perfectly fine there as well for the monsters of the Midway. The miniature monsters of the Midway. 21. So this could be Mac Jones, right? No, but taking Kwity Paye for the Colts, even though the defense, especially that front 7, has been was a plus for the Colts this season. BPA. Yeah, so Kwity Paye, put him on the edge, put him inside, put him wherever in that, and that scary Colts defense even gets scarier. I mean, that's just gross. I don't like that. 22, J.C. Horn coming on in for the Titans. So Adoree Jackson does need a running mate, so the pride of South Carolina comes on in here. So Jackson and Horn, that's a nice combo. Christian Fulton. They're also probably going to lose Malcolm Butler, so 23. The Jets. So the Jets already got Zach Wilson at 2. At 23, taking Travis Etienne, the running back out of Clemson. Now, dynamic for Wilson behind Mekhi Becton and whatnot. Also, you have Denzel Mims out of wide receiver. So that's a nice little core. That's a nice little offensive core for Zach Wilson, for Mike LaFleur going forward. And Etienne not only adds in the running game, but also he's a phenomenal receiver out of the backfield. And, of course, as a rookie quarterback. Yeah, you're going to be looking to get rid of the ball quick. So I wouldn't be shocked if Travis Etienne has, I don't know, like 800 yards receiving his first season out of the gates. 24. Tevin Jenkins, the tackle. Now, this could be Mac Jones, unless Pittsburgh is set on Mason Rudolph and Dwayne and Josh Dobbs, sure. But Tevin Jenkins, the left tackle out of Oklahoma State, I really like. So Villanueva is probably going to leave in free agency. They do need some freshening up on that offensive line. Makes sense. 25. So the Jaguars, they got Trevor Lawrence at 1. Now, you could make a case, get him some offensive line help. If Jenkins had made it to 25, I think that makes too much sense since Cam Robinson probably isn't going to be retained. Also never really became that guy when he was a second-round pick out of Alabama. But Trevin Moehrig, the number one safety off the board, phenomenal in coverage, can play down the box as well, just suturing up the back end of that Urban Meyer defense for year 1. I like it. 26. Zaven Collins for the Browns. Zaven Collins is a dude, man. Go watch the Cincinnati and Tulsa game. Desmond Ridder versus Zaven Collins. It's a fun game, but just a tough sort of a throwback slobber knocker linebacker. I really do like Zaven Collins a lot, but also add in plus movement skills. Nice little addition for the second level of the Browns defense. 27, got the Ravens. This is what annoys me about the Ravens, where they just let edge rushers go and then they just reload, right? So they're going to lose Matt Judon, who played on the franchise tag this year. They're going to lose Yannick the freaking Ngakoue to free agency. And then they just get Azeez Ojulari coming out of Georgia. They get Von Miller 2.0. Great. Good job, Wink Martindale. Come on down. 28. You got the Saints taking a linebacker. Makes sense. DeMario Davis ain't getting any younger. Nick Bolton coming out of Mizzou. Absolute tackling machine. 29. So, new name, Joe Tryon, edge rusher coming out of Washington. Now, hasn't been on too many mock drafts, mainly because he was an opt-out, but in 2019 had 41 pressures, 9 sacks, and with Shaq Barrett gone, putting Tryon opposite of JPP, standing him up in a 3-4, they can still get after it in the front 7 of Tampa Bay. 30, so the Bills are in a good spot. They are in a spot where every single level of that defense is pretty damn solid. Offensively, they're looking good. Could you say add a wider, like, could you imagine adding a Rondale Moore or Rashad Bateman to that Bills offense? Woo. Man, you like it. Or maybe Freiermuth, the tight end from Penn State. Yeah. But taking Aaron Robinson, the cornerback from Central Florida. Now, former Alabama player, does have length. Best season was 2019, was sort of in 2020. But in terms of going BPA, adding some depth in that cornerback room, you can never go wrong there. 31. So this is a dagger, man. Yeah, Tutu Atwell, wide receiver at Louisville. Now, a lot of places do project Tutu as like a late day 2, maybe even early day 3 guy. But, I mean, Tutu, people write him off because of his size. He's 5'9", maybe a $170 soaking wet. But kid is tough. So not only does he have the dynamic speed, great game-breaking agility, great route runner, he's just a tough kid. He is absolutely tough. He's just like his pops. So now he goes across the river, and now I have to hate him. That sucks. And 32, so a bit of a surprising pick. So Levi Onwuzurike, also coming out of Washington, going to be a 3-tech in the NFL, played all over the Huskies defensive line, was a 2020 opt-out, but I mean, absolute penetration machine. And the Chiefs in this spot where you have Onwuzurike as well as Chris Jones on the inside, that's gross. That's gross. Plus you got Frank Clark on the edge. That's gross. Dudes who didn't make it. So Mac Jones, still there, chilling. Probably going to be a high second-round pick. Now, DJ, I put a lot of stock into his quarterback evaluations. Obviously, he's been an NFL scout, plus he played college quarterback at Appalachian State, Go Mountaineers. So, I mean, if his opinion on Mac Jones is pretty low, I give that a lot of weight. Plus, Kyle Trask obviously didn't make it first round. Najee Harris, I give the edge to Etienne. I think he's a little bit more dynamic, even though Najee Harris has a little bit more size. They're both really good receivers as well, a little bit more power in the running game with Najee Harris. Bateman didn't make it. Rondale Moore didn't make it. Terrace Marshall Jr., who had a nice little mini breakout season this year without Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson taking away his work. He looked good for LSU. Leatherwood wasn't drafted. I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. Brady Christensen out of BYU, PFF's number 1 graded tackle. Didn't go first round. Probably going to be a high day 2 pick. Wyatt Davis, no matter what. I think the knee injury cost him. And then defensively, Christian Barmore, Davion Nixon, the 2 highly rated defensive interior guys didn't go first round. And then you have physical freaks like Jason Owe and Joseph Asai, the edge rushers from Penn State and Texas, respectively, didn't quite make the first round. Carlos Basham Jr., Now, if you want a guy who can rush the edge as well as set the edge in the run game, Carlos Basham, about 290 plus pounds, coming out of Wake Forest. A linebacker, Dylan Moses, I get it. Then quarterback Sean Wade, I definitely get it. As well as Darian Kendrick coming out of Clemson, and Asante Samuel Jr. didn't make it, as well as Javon Holland. I think he might be the only other safety that has a chance to go first round. But doesn't quite make the cut here either. So, I mean, that's it. That's Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft 1.0. And again, I do respect dudes who put in the work, and obviously DJ does, and then come to a different conclusion and just stand by that, because this is a lot different than most of the mock drafts that we're used to seeing from PFF, from Yahoo, from CBS, from ESPN, etc. But I like it, man. And I do put a little bit more stock, given his background as well as given his connections. So maybe he's hearing things. Maybe the consensus of certain players is higher in the league as opposed to the public, and vice versa. So buckle up, baby. We're just getting started. It's fun. But your thoughts, Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft 1.0. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. While Sport That Work. Post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.